the May 20.
Here.
Motion to approve consent agenda as amended.
Support. Motion by Dorothy, supported by Frank. There's another discussion. Can we get a roll call, please?
Kraft? Yes. DeGiorgio?
Yes.
Sakowicz?
Yes.
Vincent?
Yes.
Philbrook?
Yes. Okay, motion carries. Move on to item 4, which is comments from the floor. At this time, anybody from the audience that'd like to participate in commenting, we'd like to you state your name and come up to the podium, state your name and address, and keep your comments to a maximum of 3 minutes, please.
Paul Wokoniewski, 71970 Lassier, Bruce Township. To preserve and protect the existing natural assets found within the township. To promote developments which are sensitive to the existing environmental character of the township. To understand that Bruce Township will largely be a bedroom community where residents will primarily work, shop, and entertain outside of the township in more densely developed communities. To promote and encourage long-range thinking, not only within public officials, but also with residents. To continue a well-planned growth and development policy. I'm reading from the Bruce Township Master Plan Goals and Objectives. I'm not sure that some of the members of the board even know what's in the master plan. The master plan was reaffirmed in 2022, so it should not even be up for review until at least 27 and at the latest 2032. However, the township currently has a pro-developer supervisor, and he's promoting the changing of the master plan. This is the antithesis of our current master plan. And is it a coincidence that signs are popping up along Van Dyke promoting a particular developer? The job of the Planning Commission and the board is to promote and support the will of the people, which has been repeatedly maintain the rural atmosphere of the township. Since 1998, the Bruce Township leadership has implemented agriculture and open space policies that maintain the rural atmosphere in our community. Now they want to do a survey to see what the people want. They keep saying rural. Has anyone on the Planning Commission or this board ever done a survey? I have. And a 10% response is considered excellent, hardly a majority. I used to have a professor when I was going for my master's degree wear a t-shirt that said, if the answers don't come out the way you want, manipulate the questions. Okay, and you can also skew the answers to get people that represent special interest to answer when others won't. It's becoming blatantly obvious that the leadership in Bruce Township has nothing but disdain for the taxpayers and the master plan. The rezonings in the past year defying the master plan, with both changing the character and the township and the village, losing historical home, cutting 100-year-old walnut trees, and leaving a debris field behind there that's going on 10 months now with no cleanup. Also promoting a police millage so they can bring in marijuana shops, like they tried to do the first term. Not equally enforcing ordinances. Mike, I understand you have my name on an ordinance complaint. I have never given you a name or an address except for LaShare Acres on 34 Mile Road, which is a driving hazard at night, and you have repeatedly refused to enforce our ordinances with them. The changing of the master plan between 34 Mile Road and north to Boardman, also the lack of transparency. I'm wondering why the newspaper has never reported on the campaign finance violations the supervisor and treasurer were both fined for. So it's getting out of hand where our supervision has no consideration for what the people of the township want. And it's been from day one, maintain the rural atmosphere.
Anybody else? I'd like to make a few comments. Just can't believe, again, we've spent the whole political time covering up all the naysaying
I'll speak for myself. Yeah, I got fined for campaign contribution stuff only because I reported late. I was late reporting my first campaign receipts. Yes, and I got fined for that, I admit it. I went, paid my fine, and I went on with life. As far as marijuana, yes, there was a time the committee was formed to explore bringing marijuana into the township because there was money that could have been made, which we were in dire need of. And we had a committee. The committee explored it. There was a lot of pros and cons about it. And we ended up dissolving it because Romeo beat us to the point. We have one right there at the border. Two of them, actually, now three. So that ship sailed. We are no longer interested in it because those places are now closing left and right. As far as police, we are not promoting police. People have come to us asking what it would take for police. And now I'm telling people, if you want police, start a petition, go get the signatures. So there you have it.
With regards to development, I have no idea about the signs popping up along Van Dyke for a developer. This board has been in place for 5 years now, pretty much the same members except for a couple of trustees have changed over. This board has not approved one higher density rezoning since we've been here. I cannot say that for the previous administration. When you yourself, Paul, were on both the board and the planning commission, gave us our highest density housing projects we've got in this community.
No, if you look at the record.
Doesn't matter, you were on the board, I'm speaking, now I gave you your opportunity, I didn't interrupt you. So stop trying to mislead the people with your
You're controlled by special interest.
whatever you say, Paul, but also the facts speak for themselves. You gave us our highest density housing projects this township's had. We've not rezoned anything since this current administration, so I don't know what you're going on other than speculation, which if that's what you want everybody to believe, then go ahead, that's fine. But I can say right now that this board is not promoting anything along what you're saying whatsoever at all. So that's all I got.
You know how you can say that with a straight face?
It's easy when you tell the truth.
Yeah.
Both of
Here he
you are
is.
lying.
Okay.
Based on what?
Proof.
Show us some proof. What are you talking about?
You
Speculation.
zoned 2 parcels there. How can you say you've never?
We didn't rezone it.
What did we rezone? The 156 West Gates, we rezoned it after 5 years of working with the people and came up with exactly what the people want to see over there to the best of we can make it work. Close public comment. Move on to item 7A under unfinished business. It's the Callisto Group cybersecurity audit. It was on our agenda last month. Back on again. I think, Susan, you put it on. Did you want to?
Yeah, I guess I misunderstood when we made the motion. I thought we were I thought you were talking about taking out for bids. I didn't realize we'd gone back to the cybersecurity issue. So I put in your packet what they sent me. I have been in communication with them, David. I didn't know that this was falling on when we talked about it, I didn't know I was going to be in charge of it. All of a sudden, I'm getting calls and had a few other things on my plate. So I have talked to her, but I wanted to make sure you all understood what this meant. I assume this is an internal audit, not an external audit. There are concerns that we don't have a contract with them. They're going to be able to access all our information. So I don't know if we want to put some kind of groundwork. And I don't know why cybersecurity, we already have a tech company.
Nothing
They
wrong,
protect us.
nothing wrong taking a look at it through another set of eyes.
Well, you all voted for it, and so I just want to make
It
sure
says right in the
that,
motion that we are doing an evaluation on our system, not sending out for RFPs or,
but it says evaluation of our system. It doesn't say anything about cybersecurity in the motion. So
That's a given. And when you look at our
Okay.
system, that is a given. So I did reach out to Jamie and directed her to you because I have no ability to give her access to the system that she can evaluate it.
Right.
They need to know what our system consists of before they can give us a price on whether or not they can maintain it for a better value.
Absolutely. I don't have a problem with it, but a heads up would have been nice. I didn't know.
Well,
She
that's-
called me apparently, and I couldn't hear the volume. No matter how much I turned it up, I couldn't get her voicemail. So that was part of the lag there.
so the IT's handled through your office. Is there going to be any kind of a problem with her obtaining the information that she needs at all, or did we?
Well, it's more about high-tech, whether or not, we probably need to outline the scope of the work, a timeline, what we're allowed to share, because we have to give them direction, I assume. Rick's here from high-tech.
They know how to evaluate a system. They need to know what our system consists of. That's really, I mean, it's right in here. They're not interested in our personal information. They need to know how many computers, what kind of software, firewall, server. They just need to know the hardware, just like you
They need
would.
access to it, too.
Absolutely. They just need to know what's in the system. Certainly, they need access to it. So there should be no reason we can't give them access. They're a professional firm. They've offered to do this without charge, just to evaluate the system and give us a price. So I mean, I don't see
Give
why
us a
there was any
price-
delay
Give us a price for updating our security?
for
or-
maintaining our system.
I don't even know if it's to give us a price, is it? It's more or less to give us a diagnostics on what their determination is after they do an evaluation, I think.
They will do the evaluation, and included in that, they can tell us what they would charge to monitor and maintain our system as well.
Rick, if you have the opportunity, maybe we can take a look at this and see if you have any issues with having Callisto getting this information.
Here's some, he did share this with us, and it was after the board pack went out, that list of questions and concerns.
Yeah. Excuse me. I can look at whatever they're going to do. There's an internal one where they're actually inside your network where we give them admin rights to be able to load their tools. And then there's one where they just plug into your network and run a scan. So we want to see if we're limiting what rights that they have. If we're giving them full access, our guys will need to be involved and monitor them the whole way through. As a FYI, just so you know, because per our agreement, you can't have two companies in there supporting it because we don't know what they're going to do. And if we give them admin rights, they can put whatever they want into there. Not saying that they're going to, it's just we need to be monitoring while they're doing that. So we need to find out if it's an internal audit where they have admin rights or if they're just going to come on your network. If they're just trying to figure out, excuse me, how many computers you have, that's on our quotes. We could tell them that this is the kind of firewall you have, this is how many servers you have, this is the kind of backup. We can give them all those numbers. We do this all the time with other companies. All they need to know is really how many servers they have and how many desktops or laptops that we're monitoring. That's the main thing. Getting more information, I don't have a problem sharing any of that information, how the backup works, what we're
So do you usually
using.
work directly with them when something like this is put in place?
With another company coming in, we would need to monitor them the whole time. So so like our tools, we can usually get in there and load it and have it sitting on the network for about 2 hours. It's only going to see what you have on the network. So if everybody had tablets or notebooks and it wasn't plugged in and turned on the network, they wouldn't see it.
They're going to need the domain administrator credentials. You know,
Exactly, you're giving them full access to your network. That's why we would have to monitor them while they're in there. So, I mean, the questions I sent to Susan was, how long do they need to be in there? Is it a day? Is it a 2-day? Is it a 2-hour window? How much access are we giving them?
we can find that information out for you.
No, I think there's two. Yeah.
I mean,
there's two.
this seems to be like, it's not an uncommon thing that they're requesting from,
No, other companies do that, but the issue was if you're doing two different things. One, you're doing a free audit for them. The other piece is if they want to bid against what you currently have to offer your solution, we can provide them all that information, so it's apples to apples. This is exactly what High Tech's providing. This is if they want to provide the stuff or if they have alternatives to what's being provided.
well, it says that their tool will conduct a thorough scan of our network, identifying vulnerabilities, outdated software misconfigurations, and potential security gaps. Is primarily what they're looking to do.
I don't have any problem working on this, I just want some clarification. So,
Well, it looks like we did approve to go ahead and have the audit done at our last meeting, so the clarification be to have to work with Rick, but if there's any if it looks like there may be some kind of resistance, then maybe we got to put somebody else in charge of working with Callisto and High Tech. So,
what, you're implying that I'm not going to,
obviously, the board approved it at our last meeting,
but
and for
Mike, I
some
didn't know
reason
what I was
never.
supposed to do, I didn't
It
even know
says
you
right
were
in the
putting me in
minutes,
charge.
it's an auditor.
It does not say that in the minutes.
It does say that specifically, it doesn't say that we're looking for bids
All
on.
right, fine, somebody else can take care of it.
Dave, would you
Fine.
want to take it over?
I currently don't have access to the system in this, the system here. There's no reason that Susan can't do this work. It's just allowing these people to do the work that we asked them to do. They offered to do it. We passed a motion, confirming that we wanted them as a board to do it. I don't see the problem. I know there's been foot dragging on this. It could have been done in just a very short time. I don't know why it wasn't. So,
Because
there's no
I
reason.
didn't know I was supposed to do it, David. You were on vacation, and you had contacted them. Nobody contacted me, excuse me.
She contacted you, Jamie contacted you.
And I talked to her.
Right. Listen, I don't want to get into it. I could read the email that I got from Jamie. I don't think that's appropriate. I don't want to do that. There's obviously been obstruction in having this done, and I don't understand why. It's a free audit. It's just going to evaluate our system. I see nothing wrong with having this done. We do it everybody does it with their doctor's visits. If they have a high price on getting a quote on having their car repaired, everybody gets second opinions on stuff. There's nothing unusual here.
So how do you want to handle it? I have no trouble doing this. I am just telling you that I need some clarification on how to do internal, external. I didn't know if I needed to work with them. I was surprised that I was doing it because it wasn't mentioned at the meeting, so. Go ahead and do it yourself, Mike. You have access to all
I'm
this.
not an IT person, or I would.
Nor am I.
Don't you always deal with the high-tech people with?
We all do, Frank.
Not necessarily. I mean, we're always,
Okay, just tell me how, if you want me to handle it, I'll handle it. I have no problem with this, people. I just want
working
some
with
clarification.
Whatever is being requested, that, they get in communication with High Tech, whatever needs to be done.
And the motion didn't say anything about me doing it. I was caught off guard, so.
All right, let's get it.
I think everybody assumed it would be you because your office is the point of contact when it comes to high-tech and all our internet.
I just
stuff.
assumed since David is taking over and he made the initial contact that he was doing it, so.
I just contacted Jamie and let her know that the board passed the motion and that as a board, we wanted them to continue on and do the evaluation. That's all I let her know.
Well-
I asked her to contact you directly because it's your office that has control over our computer services.
Okay. If
So
Doesn't
I
work.
am obviously, you don't trust that I'll get it done, so go ahead and do it. Happy to let you.
You know, but I think that's inappropriate if those job duties fall under your office.
But he's the one who's saying that he doesn't trust that I will do it. So,
But it's inappropriate to assign it to someone else if those job duties fall under the
Okay.
job descriptions in your office.
Sorry.
That's my opinion.
sorry, Mike, you're inappropriate, so I will take care of it.
All right, there's no.
And I'll just, can I work with you, Rick?
Yes.
Okay.
Move on to item 7B, which is under unfinished business. It's high tech. I think Susan's got that on there.
Oh, you all had questions last month, so Rick printed off some invoices and itemized them, and is here to answer any questions. I did just pass out this last piece of paper that he gave me tonight that kind of outlines, summarizes our year. So if you have questions.
I only really had one clarification from what was said last month to this month, is the $160,000 excuse me, budget kept being thrown out, and I kept saying, I don't think it's that high. I ran the total, it was just over 133,000.
I think the number that we end up saying pretty much was 140. I think originally it might have been 160, but it was around 140, and the year wasn't
Yep.
over with at that point in time. We ended up with 132, you said?
133, 643, 67.
When our budget's 60,000
How much do you budget for 60,000 for what, though?
for the IT services.
Okay, so if we're talking just IT services, I have that total. Last year on IT services, you were actually well below that $60,000.
That was last year, but we were questioning this year. Or this past year, is this what you're talking about, the 140,000?
Yeah, last year total, IT services, all new gear, every single thing that we invoiced you for.
Right. It's
Mileage, time blocks.
$140,000. And speaking with, when I've had my supervisors meeting just recently, I had asked around from the other municipalities how their IT services were and where they were at as far as their budget, and not any of them came anywhere near even 100,000, not even 80,000, let alone 140,000. So I don't know how this small municipality of Bruce Township has ended up with $132,000 worth of invoices for IT services. That was the question. And we need to be held accountable to the people that live within this community as far as how their money's being spent. And I'm sure that would raise a red flag for anybody. If you were in our shoes, you would be looking at it the same way.
Yep. So last year, as an example, you're asking where all the money went. There's over 41,000 just in discounted time blocks. So that was purchased then. You also had your servers replaced. Your servers were $33,000. That's a one every 5 years you do it. So, I mean, if you want to divide that by 5, that's what it's going to be based on. But you have to, we can lease payments, we can do other options, but you replace your servers. Last year, we also spent $6,500 on upgrading your Microsoft 365. You went now to the cloud. So there's all these additional costs. When we look at your actual service agreements that you had, where the pricing changed from 1 month to the next month, the price changed because we added the 365 pieces that are on there. We added the backup to the 365 because the server was originally backing up all your Exchange folders, all your emails. As a government entity, you're supposed to keep all that. So now that it's in the cloud, we need to back those up so that you have that if someone ever comes in and FOIAs you for any of that information. So that was an added service. And like I said, the Microsoft 365 itself is, you have an option to buy a business client license and you have a government one. We opted for the government one. The government one was from the last clerks conference that I went to last year. The FBI sat up there and told everybody, you need to be going over to the government side. So that's what we did. We were able to save the fire department, get frontline worker licenses for them. So they paid very inexpensive costs to be able to do that. So these are the added supports from your original agreements, how much they cost, to what they cost now is you added additional services that you never had before.
I know, but it can't be anything more than any of the other municipalities. People got 30, 40, 60,000 population, 10 times the amount of work staff and 10 times the amount of computers. Why are we paying 300% more for the same kind of services?
Do you have any of these numbers showing that another size company? Because everybody's paying the same price for the office. There's not $2 higher or $2 less somewhere else. Everybody's paying the same exact cost. So there's not a cost difference on that.
Mike, can I ask a question here?
Yes.
So basically what you're saying, Rick, last year was an anomaly. You have about $85,000 off the top of my head is what you just said. You spent 133, so typically it looks like what we're going to spend about $48,000 a year.
Yeah, you
Last year, because of buying $40,000 worth of blocks, $33,000 worth of servers, $6,900 or $6,500 for Microsoft Office upgrades. Off the top of my head, roughly those are about $85,000.
Yep.
So we're not going to incur those costs this year.
exactly. You're only going to have that 365 when it renews, which was around $65,000,
About every
$7,000.
5 years is what you're saying is when we incur these costs.
100%, and it's the same thing with your PCs.
So if we budgeted, Mike, let's just, I don't know what we budgeted. I don't even know on the fire department side, but let's say we both budgeted 40,000 apiece on, because usually we share those costs. We should be good. We should just know in advance that every 4 or 5 years, possibly, or 5, 6 years, we need to increase that budget
Yeah, so
to
what
account for if we need to do upgrades.
And equipment costs come out of a different line item anyway, so.
Right, so managed services didn't actually increase, you added services to that. It'd be the same thing if you added an additional computer. It's going to go up because you
Bottom
added a
line
whole nother
roughly is
unit.
What, about 35,000?
What's that?
What's our bottom line? Like our typical, our maintenance program?
Well, last year, like you said, you spent around $32,000 for
Right, so
everything.
about-
And that is with the jump of adding all those other
So about
services. So it was less.
35,000 is our yearly annual service, we'll call it agreement, for the township and the fire department.
Yep. And I have all the invoices, you've got a copy of them. You
Which-
can see line by line item, how much all the stuff cost for you. You're able to then see where if we change the quantity, say there's a quantity 28 and went to quantity 29, it's all spelled out in there, where it changed, why it changed. Last year, like I said, there was only a total of $86 a month that increased on your cost. That's it, and it was two part numbers
So
that
this
changed.
year, we shouldn't see much over $35,000 unless we purchase something major.
Yeah, like I
We
said,
have the block hours that are banked.
correct. So you have almost 200 hours, banked hours, because we were able to use all those other hours that you previously had. So we were bankrolling it because the fire department wanted their own 100 hours. So that's why there's ads on there. And we knew that we were supposed to look to replace some computers here this year, and that's because of the Windows 11 that's happening October 15th that you have to move over to. So it has nothing to do with your age of computers. It has to do with the Microsoft piece that you cannot upgrade certain computers to Windows 11. So that's why that other 100 hours were bought, to be able to do that. And when you bought them, you got them at the Christmas time. Plus, we gave you an extra discount because I was able to go back and change your original cost to give you an extra $1,000 off.
If anybody itemized these invoices, there are a couple duplicates in here, so sorry about that. Dorothy brought it to my attention.
Did we have one hard drive or 2 hard drives replaced?
You had 3 hard drives replaced at 2 different times, and I have the dates when they're actually replaced.
The invoices I have, I was going to ask you about them. I show 4 hard drives replaced.
No, there was 3.
There's on 2/8/24, invoice 78103, 1 hard drive was replaced.
Correct.
On 6/30/24, invoice 79209, 2 drives were replaced.
Correct.
And on 8/26/24, invoice 79933, one drive was replaced.
I don't see in my records that 8/26/24.
Okay,
You're
it's
saying-
in the invoices that came. I mean, that's where I got this information.
What was the invoice number?
79933. The price of the drive was $577.06. So, part of my question is, I see the prices that we pay for these drives. I just went online to look. I can find that same drive for $355. I wonder why we paid $550 to $570 for those drives.
How do you know it was the exact same drive?
It's exact same specifications.
So exact specifications, but what,
HPE 900 gigabyte, 12th generation enterprise drive, 15,000 RPM, 2.5 inch. It's the same drive.
but what I'm saying is our part number matching to their part number?
I don't know what your part
Right.
number is.
Okay, so that's just said, so we can't confirm that's the exact same drive. Plus, we purchased that last year, and times when you have a failure specifically on your server, I have to get it for wherever I can get it from, as fast as I can get it. So sometimes there's additional cost for those where I can buy them from, and we bought them new. When we discussed this, when they actually did fail, we were in negotiations to buy the new server, and I said, do you want to run the risk, or do you want to put the drives in? We opted to put the drives in.
Okay, can you tell me why these drives, these 4 brand-new drives, weren't put into our new server, and why we went and bought all new drives for the new server?
Because your old server was 5 years old, so they're
But these drives were brand-new. These drives were brand-new drives.
So the way HPE works all their stuff is they're designed to work in specific models.
Okay,
So
are you
yours is a
saying
5-year-old.
these drives don't fit in
I don't know.
unit that,
I don't know, but they're not, like I said, they were designed to work in that computer.
okay. I guess I would like to know, I mean, it makes sense to me, these drives were virtually the same size, same capacity, within 100 gigabytes, so, we're right there. If they weren't included, what happened to these brand-new drives? Because we have over $2,000 worth of drives here that we just bought,
They're in your old server.
and where is the old server?
I don't know. It might still be here. I don't know where it is.
That wasn't, does anybody know where the old server is? Was it turned over at the time?
I know it ran for several months after because we were still using the Exchange piece of it.
Okay, so it's still here.
Yeah,
Okay.
quite possibly, yeah, it's right across here.
Well, there was a laptop that we purchased that was a supervisor's, and you guys got him a new one, and we never seen the old one either. That was another laptop that we paid like $900 for, I believe. He was having problems with it. You guys took it, and you said, oh, he needs a replacement. You got a replacement, but we never seen the old one anymore. And I see we got charged $1,200, $1,238 for that new notebook.
Which invoice are you, yep, I see it right here.
Yep.
79844. Yep, I have it right here. So you're telling me that you wanted your old notebook back that was having problems with it?
I would think that because we paid for it and bought it, it is our property.
Yes, so typically what we do is we recycle all those and dispose of them. But if you want any of your equipment back, boxes, that can be easily changed and we can leave stuff here.
I don't know if we're given that option. I'm just,
100%.
yeah, my point is that we purchased it. It could have been used for anybody that, maybe needs it for a time being to work from home or whatever.
Like you already said, it was having issues with it
Right.
and it was due to be replaced.
No, it's a
I
brand
don't
new.
know. I still got the same one. We all bought it
Yeah, I got the same
Okay.
COVID
personal
time,
one.
and mine still works perfectly.
Okay.
I was having a problem because my memory, I didn't have enough memory space, which nobody else had that issue. I couldn't, and I kept running out of memory.
Well, memory is going to be determined on what you're actually installing on your machine and what programs you're
I didn't
running.
install very much because like I stated earlier, I'm not an IT person. I barely can get my way through the computer to answer
Right.
my emails.
But also all those machines you're talking about, we didn't sell them to you either.
No, we bought these other ones personally,
Yeah, we
but
bought them ourselves.
we should have gotten it back, as we were saying, we purchased it, it wasn't bought from you. But even if we bought it from you, it's our property, we should have had it returned to us.
So the procedure is if we have something like that, we give it to you to be wiped, and then you recycle it unless we say we want it back? I mean, there's an option, you're saying?
Yeah, if you want all your stuff back, that's easy to change that. All your equipment comes back to you. So what we normally do is we actually wipe all the data and destroy the hard drives, and then recycle the rest of the equipment. But I mean, I know you're saying that to me right now, but I know when we had the switches out here, and Orange Cloud came out here and put switches in, your Extreme switch walked away. And we had to call and get that back, so it came back here. Companies that came in here and put the cameras in, took all your access cameras that we installed probably 3 years before that you had a grant, and they walked away with the cameras. So this is a normal thing for other people. But like I said, it's kind of standard that they kind of replace those things, but your switch was fully functional. They told you that you had to replace it because it wasn't PoE, and it was PoE. Your cameras, there was nothing wrong with your cameras. You could have redeployed them anywhere else. And those cameras never got returned.
And go back to what David was talking about on the hard drives, that we paid $5,000 for hard drives that he found on the internet for,
No.
It was about, we paid about $2,200. I found this, it's the identical drive for $355. So, I mean, we would have paid less. I don't know why we pay as much as we did for those, but.
Well, you're looking also at today's numbers, not when we had to purchase them.
what about the labor to install them? Can I ask you what, I see one here, is that $9,720 labor off of time block?
It should have came off the time block. I'd have to look at that particular quote.
That $9,720 isn't figured in one of the invoices? Did we get it off the time block and the invoices? Because we burned up a lot of time. I think that's why we end up having to buy more hours.
So that's invoice 81022. I had some questions on that invoice as well.
I think some of this stuff could probably be taken offline so that we can actually look at all these things versus going through each individual invoice, especially for a $500 hard drive that you're trying to tell me that you can get for $300. I mean, you might be able to get it for, but we can't confirm that your part number is exactly my part number. So I think I'd rather have some of that information.
I mean, that was months ago. That's all after the fact. I do have some questions that I think are pertinent on invoice 81022, that I'd like to ask specifically.
What was that for?
That was our server replacement.
Okay.
So I see the server listed here. In addition, there's a processor card and some memory. Does the initial server as it comes come with a power supply?
Yes.
Okay. I see that we have a secondary power supply, which is normal, that's listed.
Yeah, it's a redundant power supply.
Yes, we bought two power supplies. Is there a reason we bought two?
So typically, sometimes the models come with not the same speed, and depending on the, for the wattage, so they may make a 500, a 700, or an 800, so we have to have matching ones. So typically, sometimes when we buy the models, they may have a smaller size hard drive, but with your configurations, it dictates what speed of power supplies they have, or how much power they can produce. So we probably removed the old one and added the two ones to put it in there.
Okay.
It's because they have to match.
Okay. Is there a reason we bought this? This is essentially a high-performance processor that really, I don't see anything in this building that we needed to spend $3,600 on a processor for basically doing RAID storage and just basic server work. So is there a reason we bought that kind of a processor to go in this?
Because typically we build it to last 5 years,
Okay.
and we cannot dictate what you're going to do in the next 4 years. So when we buy something, it has to have room to grow. And at the time, like I said, I'd have to look back. We're talking 4 or 6 months ago for me to go back and figure out why we quoted this particular model at that time. Typically, like I said, BSNA is requiring lots of resources and lots of processing power. So we usually dictate that.
Okay, so for our township, I mean, this processor is really oriented not for this type of an environment. I mean, it's high computer processing, virtualization. We're not doing any of those things here. So why is it that we would spend this much money on a processor?
You are doing virtualization.
Okay, in terms of what? We're running virtual machines?
I'm not 100% sure on that. I think you might have some of that on there, but your server, you have a physical server, and it's split in two that's virtualized.
Okay,
So you have a DOC, you have basically 3 servers running. You have your domain controller on there, you have your BSNA, and then you have your file server. So there's 3 different pieces that are running on there.
okay, but that's different than what I'm referring to. I mean, we have, this machine is capable of 3 terabytes of RAM, and it looks like we have less than 100 gigabytes of RAM in here. So, I mean, there's no demand, there's no RAM that's even, I mean, there's nothing here that justifies this kind of a processor, that we would need something like that.
Boy, okay, so you're talking about the processor and the RAM. Which one do you want me, you want to answer both of those? Because yes, you can put more RAM in there.
We can.
The RAM is based on how much we need to assign to each of those servers and a little bit room of grow, so that when we put something together and we go 2 years down the road and you need additional resources, I don't have to say, give me money. I can say, I have the additional resources. Can I spin up a new server? Yes, I have those additional cores that are on a processor. That's why you have this. If I were to undersize it and you wanted to go bigger, you couldn't. We'd have to end up yanking both the processors out and buying those new processors. And if you look on there where it's at quantity 1 for the processor,
Right.
There's 2 in there. I believe there's 2 in this system. I'd have to double check the part.
There's a processor that comes with the unit itself.
Typically, yes.
Correct.
So some of that is redundancy and load balancing.
Okay.
And it's typically to go higher than lower.
The last question I have with regard to this is, how do we justify 70 hours of time? That's almost 2 full weeks for one employee to put this server together and install it. And there's no way that can be justified. It was like 70 or 74 hours, I think you told us, that we had spent on this project.
Do the math here, and I'll tell you in a second. $67 hours is what I came up with. So yeah, about 70.
Yeah, it was something around 70. You told us that at the previous meeting, probably
Yep.
at the end of the year. So how is it that happens?
I'm not the person that works on all this stuff, but I have all the documentation for their times and minutes that they worked on this. So it's all documented that when we send the invoice, you actually get all the hours that are on there. So it says what they worked on and how long they spent time and what exactly they did. So that's provided to you. I mean, I can guess why, but I would have to read through all these notes to tell you exactly why, but I'm not the one that worked on it.
Yeah, I don't have anything else.
I also know when we quoted on here, we said not to exceed certain hours, and we kept within our budget that we said that we wouldn't exceed on all our projects. So it's not just the server, it's not the 365, it's not the firewall that we put in for the fire department, everything. We give you an estimate, low to high of where we think we're going to be, and we never exceed it.
This all predates me. I didn't have a chance to ask questions before. It all seems like it's a great deal of overkill for what this township needs. And we spent just a boatload of money on it, which I feel bad about. It was, like I said before I was here.
And just because we invoiced this in December, we probably approved that months before that.
Yep.
So, like I said, I can't remember exactly why we bought one model versus another model and why processors are in there. Typically, it's for room for growth.
Does anybody else have any questions for Rick? No. Rick, thanks for coming back in this month to clarify. Some
Thank you.
questions.
And like I said, you still need to look at doing something with your computers.
What was that?
You still need to look at doing something with your computers before October.
Okay.
Those new computers, you said the old computers won't run Windows 11. Can Windows 10 and 11 exist in the same environment?
Yes,
Okay,
there's no issue with that.
good. Thank you.
Like I said, it's just going to be a security update that you're not going to get the security updates after October 15th.
Will
So-
our firewall will that have security updates?
Yeah,
Okay,
has nothing to do with the PCs.
okay,
So like I said, it's a Microsoft update. So the firewall as a Sophos product has nothing to do with anything.
so
on
that will be running the latest security,
100%.
and,
Yep.
okay, very
That's
good,
patched all the time.
good.
You finding that prices are going up?
Yep, we got notification from HP, official email, May 4th, that all the prices were going up. But we already seen that in April.
Is it hard to find with the tariffs and threats and everything?
No, they're not really hard to find, the lower cost models. So we ordered 25 in right around when you guys were looking at yours, and the cost difference was about $50 more. But I haven't looked in a couple of weeks because we still have some of those in stock. So what we typically do is when we run down to about 10, we check prices again. But the model we quoted you, if I were to replace that exact model, they were $200 more. That's why we looked for a different model, because that particular model, the price is going up. It's going to be supply and demand.
I got one more question. Was High Tech just recently sold or bought by another company?
We merged with another company that's called Centeris. So what's going to happen then, in a short nutshell, is we went from just under 25 users to over 100, or 25 employees to over 160 employees. They have something like 15,000 managed service clients. We had less than that. They have, out of the 160 people that work there, it's probably close to 100 engineers. What's going to be good for that is you need someone that just does networking. There's a network guy. You need phones. There's dedicated guys. So there's dedicated salespeople, sales engineers, and then regular technicians to actually put this in. So there's a lot more resources. Basically, as an example, they have 3 phone systems. We have 2. So there's 5 phone systems now we can offer. We're going to eventually just stick with their 3, but that's as an example. There's a lot more that we can do, and they have offices, obviously our office in Casco. They have their main office in Sterling Heights, and they have another office in Petoskey. We're the second company that merged with them this year.
How's the merger going?
It's going, it's only been a month. So almost 2 months now, so it's going.
We never received any kind of notification that you guys were going to be merging with another company. I don't know if you have to
We
send it out.
talked about it at the last meeting.
Yeah, okay. Well, I mean,
And an email went out to all our customers that have either a contract with us or have some kind of support service with us. It could be just a backup thing. So Bruce Township was 100% notified.
okay. Are you, I mean, dealing with High Tech, I mean, 99.9% of the time, it seems like the only person we see is you.
The engineers come out here all the time when they need work
And
done.
they got a tech out here that one time, I know when they're
Right.
doing it, but,
Well, me, you don't pay for any time. Anytime you call, talk to me, I show up here, you don't pay nothing. An engineer shows up, somebody has to pay for that time.
okay. All right, thanks again, Rick, for coming back.
Yep, thank you.
So we're going to move on to 7C, which is our Civic Plus website.
Oh, yeah. I just wanted to update you, we were scheduled to launch last month, but they pushed it back, probably not until the beginning of next month. I'm not so far very impressed with Civic Plus. Roxanne and I have been working on it. But anyway, we're getting down to the nitty-gritty. I know I've shared the website with some of you, and if you have any input that you want to give me, or any complaints or concerns that residents have told you about, share them and I will pass them on. So meanwhile, there should be no lag between this current website and the one that we're going to move to, so.
So that is at June 1st, you believe it's going to go live?
Well, I have a meeting tomorrow supposedly, but they still are with there's different stages, and,
Okay.
yeah. They haven't given me a new date yet.
The only reason I ask is this is important for the survey that we wanted to do with regard to the master plan.
Yeah, it can go
Update.
on the current website, and there won't be, it'll be the same address, so when we switch over, there, as I say, there won't be a lag,
Okay.
so. That's what you're shooting for,
We just thought that the
June?
website was going to be up and running before, that's why we wanted to wait to
Yeah,
put it
so
on.
we were targeting May 1st, but when the new website isn't up and stuff, we ended up, it doesn't make sense to do a mailing on June 1st if the township's going to do a mailing like early in July. So we might just piggyback onto that.
On the
So-
taxes?
We had, to save money
Yeah.
on postage, and it might be something printed separately, but we can just go in there, and then the survey can be announced that way.
Yep.
Yeah, and you know people are looking at their taxes, so.
So I think on the website is what it's going to be. There's going to be a link there. It's not going to be on, then a link is going to take you to Giffords and Webster's, our engineer's website, to do a survey, an electronic survey, which to them it's a lot easier for them to calculate and figure it all out when they get all the surveys in. But we do also, there's going to be a paper survey. It's going to be available here, I think, right, Dave, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah, that was the plan, just to have one available if someone didn't have access to the internet, wanted to walk in and fill one out.
And so the surveys would not be technically available until we actually mailed them out. It'd be the best time to. And again, technically, there's no hurry on the master plan, right?
Well, no, I mean, other than people would like it not to linger on.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a hurry, it's just looking for advice and recommendations from the public, what the public would like to see with regard to any revisions. There's no plan to change anything right now, it's just to see what makes sense and what people want.
Well, it's good. We're going to be reaching out by the mailer to everybody in the township. Hopefully, we're going to get better than 10% response, and what's dated, so. Anything else that you want to update on that master plan at all? Dave, I'm trying to think of everything.
No, we didn't have a meeting in May, so we have not been together.
Okay. So I would agree that to save the costs and put it out with the taxes in July would be a great idea, and that'll save us like $3,000, right?
That's what we had voted last meeting, to allocate up to $3,000.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, Dave. Tell the PC things.
They'll probably save you half of that,
Good.
at least. Could be more.
All right. Move on to item 8, which is our new business under Parks and Rec, the fireworks display.
No.
We moved,
Nonprofit recognition.
Nonprofit recognition up.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Remember we moved it.
Yeah, okay, we'll go to item I, nonprofit recognition, right?
That's me.
Oh, is that why you're here?
That's why I'm here.
I thought you were here for the fireworks.
No.
Well, you're gonna
But
cover
go
that
ahead
too.
on the
We got
fireworks too.
questions.
I like the fireworks too. So.
Okay.
Bob Billick, 13947 34 Mile, here representing stewards of Bruce Township Cemeteries. We are trying to obtain a gaming license to have a raffle that we have gone in partnership with the fire department on a golf cart that we're going to be raffling off. But both the fire department and our charity have had some issues dealing with the state. And one of the things that they require is that the local governing body recognize the charity that operates in their community. In your board packets, you have our articles of incorporation, our bylaws, and everything. The addendum we had to do to the bylaws had to state that if we dissolve all of the assets and anything that belongs to stewards of Bruce Township cemeteries is turned over to Bruce Township, which, would naturally happen. Again, our charity is to work with you guys on preserving, maintaining the cemeteries, and you guys have your budget that you provide maintenance services and things. We do the special projects is what, So that's where the money that we raise goes to. Now, in this particular case, a portion we're going to be splitting with the fire union, fire department union. So anyway, I guess that's our request. The top form that's in there is the local governing body resolution for the gaming license. So I guess you guys will be signing, filling this out, and getting it to us so we can send it in with our paperwork to the state.
A motion needs to be made that the local governing body recognizes the Stewards of Bruce Township as a charity in the township. I recuse myself from this vote because I am on the board of this charity, so I'm recusing myself.
I don't think you can. We have to vote on whether or not you can recuse yourself.
Oh.
It's only if it hits, I don't think you even have to.
So I got to make a motion to recuse myself?
I don't see why you have to recuse yourself, because you
I
want
just
to be.
want to do things right.
Yeah.
Would think you could abstain if you just wanted to abstain when it was your
I'll
chance to
abstain
vote.
from it, yeah.
How come we don't see any other nonprofits coming in here for the board to approve it, or in Bruce Township, that I'm aware of?
Because they're not organized to provide things for the township, as far as I know. I mean, that's the best I can come up with. We're doing service work and stuff, and maybe they should be. I don't know. It depends. I'm not that familiar with the gaming laws and what other charities should be doing.
So, it's a township charity or whatever, a separate charity, how's that I'm just gonna be asking some questions. How does it work with the township? Obviously paying for maintenance and paying for bills out there. How's it separated from the?
So we have a golf outing where we raise money, and we also gather volunteers to go out to the cemeteries and cut brush and unwanted weeds,
Right.
fix some of the grave markers that are out there. We've installed fences. So we've provided cement patios out there, benches, flagpoles. So that is something that the charity has spent money to do.
Yeah.
Now, if there's things that we can't afford to do, then it's the township's responsibility to do it.
Yeah, the township has been providing in these cemeteries, and you're well aware, Mike, they were kind of let go, and we're looking kind of ragged. So when you guys took over and everything, we decided that, the township can only really afford to pay so much for these. I mean, these cemeteries basically were, for lack of a better term, dumped on the township by other organizations. So, we acquire them with no money. And the township has been paying for basic maintenance and things like that. But there's a lot of other things that, as Frank stated, that kind of needed to be picked up and run with. And rather than spending taxpayer dollars to kind of add to the beautification and new fencing and things like that, we decided to do the charity. And we've done quite a bit, and we're getting,
Yeah, no, you guys have been great.
we're getting a lot of volunteers and stuff, you know, a lot of them through this last couple of times through the school, and that works out really well, and the kids seem to enjoy it, so.
Okay. I'll be happy to put a motion on the table to accept and receive the nonprofit for the stewards of Bruce Township, 5013C. We need license numbers or anything like that?
No.
No.
Second.
Supported by Vincent. Is that all you guys need, basically?
Yeah, we just need to be recognized by the township.
In this form completed.
Yeah, form completed by the clerk, I believe.
Okay. Questions, Susan, you got any questions?
Nope.
Okay, motion and a second. Can we get a roll call, please?
Kraft?
Yes.
Philbrook?
Yes.
Sockowitz?
Yes.
Vincent?
Yes.
DeGiorgio?
Abstain myself.
No motion carries.
Okay.
Thanks for all you guys do, appreciate it.
Anything else you
know what
guys
the golf
need while I'm
outing
here?
is, you know, so. I already have 3 golf carts, so I don't know if I'll be buying a ticket. So,
You can buy a ticket to help support, you know,
yeah, maybe.
helps our poor firefighters union,
Okay.
helps the cemeteries.
All right, you want to stay up there for a minute for Parks and Rec? I don't think that.
Sure.
It's kind of housekeeping. Chief, you want to go take this one? Permit for the fireworks?
Okay.
Item 8A.
Just something we do every year, so.
Something we do every year.
Yep.
Did you get a chance to look at the company, Chief? It's
It's the same company,
the same company. Insurance is good. Everything looks good.
same everything.
Motion to approve the fireworks by a Mark Schrampke.
Should be contingent upon updating the insurance, because their insurance isn't.
Yeah, is it expired again like it always does?
Insurance.
Let me see.
How my people do
They'll send
that.
it once they receive.
Yeah. Well, it would be good. What is the expiration date? It does it every year. 6/1
Right,
of
and every
24.
year that's how we do it, contingent upon that.
Yeah, motion to approve Mark Schrampke to do the fireworks display for Parks and Rec this year. Contingent that he brings us an up-to-date insurance policy after this one expires on 6/1 of 25.
Support.
Support by Giorgio. There's no other discussion. Can we get a roll call, please?
Sockowitz?
Yes.
Philbrook?
Yes.
DeGiorgio?
Yes.
Kraft?
Yes.
Vincent?
Yes.
Motion carries. Thanks.
All right, thanks again, guys.
Thanks, Bob.
Anything else while I'm here? I'm going home.
Not yet.
Have a good night.
Okay, see you guys tomorrow.
See about. We got item 8B, which is our earned sick time policy. I think Susan, you were handling.
Yep, or the earned sick time policy, or ESTA, requires employers to provide sick paid leave to employees, and there are some exceptions for small businesses. Chris Anderson contacted me and put this together to make sure we conform. And then we have to provide a copy for each of our employees so that we aren't fined by the Department of Labor. So I gave you all kind of a check sheet of some of the details of that new
Are
law.
we considered a small organization or a large? Are you-
Small.
Okay, because does it include
And we
the
only
fire
have one
department?
part-time employee, yes.
I think it's under
And if you look
10,000.
at that, if you look at it, it does reference both unions in the thing that she prepared for us.
Because I think then we would be over 40. It says
Oh,
must
right.
provide employees with
Yeah.
40 hours if you're 10. Okay, so then if you're large, with those more than 10 employees, you must provide 72 hours of sick. And I think that's what it does state, right? 72. 72 hours of earned sick time. So this would only be for our one
Yeah,
person?
Who is that one person?
Would it be the intern?
Part-time.
Our intern?
Oh, okay. So we do have somebody that qualifies under this. I didn't think we had anybody that would qualify for this.
So is this because all of our other employees are covered by union
yes,
contracts?
that's why she lists both contracts.
Okay.
Somewhere's in here.
And she's been working with other communities, so
And as far as, how does this affect you?
It doesn't affect us because on our side, we're already providing this.
Yeah,
And we are too,
Above and
other than
beyond
for the one.
exactly, and that's why.
This is a
listen,
minimum standard that the state created. We're well past the minimum standard. That's why it doesn't apply to us.
So does nothing in here apply to the township?
Well, we just have to have a policy in place.
Okay.
And, well, we do have the part-time employees, so, and I have to now I'll give this a copy to everybody, or let them know we have this in place.
So where is our normal sick time policy now? Where,
Well, those are all part of the union
the
contract.
union contracts, that's where we would find that, okay.
So they get 1 day a month.
1 day every 30 hours, I believe.
1
Well, that's
hour
what
every
it says
32
here.
hours.
But the
Yeah,
union
1 hour every-
contract, one,
Yeah, it ends up
a
to
month.
be 1 day a month.
1
I
day a
believe.
month. Which is, you know,
And it's usually 2 hours a week for a full-time employee, right? Isn't that what we get in a
What was it?
contract? Contract is about 2 hours a week, isn't it? 2 days a month, is that maybe cheaper?
no, 1 day a month for,
His contract.
For our normal
yours might be
people.
different. I don't know what the fire department's
For
contract.
sick time, it's not normally more than 1 day a month. That's
1 day
sick
a
time.
month, I
For
think
the
it's
fire
the same
department,
as
it's
for you.
1 day a month, but it's
Yeah.
at 24
24
hours.
hours.
Okay.
For everybody's reference, too, in this new MTA magazine, on page 4, it has a whole explanation.
Yeah, I
and-
do that too,
Yeah,
that's right.
yeah, it was
So-
helpful.
Yeah.
Is there just, do we have a motion to accept this,
Yes,
or accept and receive?
I'll
or
make
have
a motion
file?
to approve the Bruce Township earned sick time policy as presented.
So then who would be keeping track? Because I know she works less than 30 hours. But it's an accumulated situation, is that how that works? If she's up to 24 hours?
We'll figure it out.
Okay.
I'll make
So
sure
that'll be
Donnie
track.
gets this. Yeah.
Support.
Motion by Kraft, supported by Giorgio. Okay. Roll call, Roxanne?
Vincent,
Yes.
DeGiorgio,
Yes.
Sockowitz,
Yes.
Philbrook,
Yes.
Kraft.
Yes.
Thanks, Susan, for doing that. Item 8C, which is our monthly recycling price increase.
Yeah, so there was conversation about this, and I guess when he met with you, this Dan Benet, he said it's going to be $5,000 a month, and he was comparing us to, I think, he said Armada, where they do more than just the two Saturdays a month. So it is going up, and it's going to be now twice what it was, but not quite as high as we thought.
It's about double, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So right now, we currently pay $1,100 a month for 2 services, twice a month. They come out twice a month for $1,100, if I'm not mistaken, or is it
Yes.
$1,200?
Twice a month for 1,100. They
Yep.
come out. 1,100 a month, twice a month,
So what they're looking,
9 to 12, 2 days a month.
so right now, they're currently looking at coming out 1 time a month at the same price. So we either do that, or we can go twice a month at $2,400.
What do we have budgeted for? I mean, I guess where would we find that in the budget? Did
I
they
have
make
it in the
allowance
budget,
for?
but I budgeted some extra because I knew there was gonna be more, and I don't know what the line item, I don't know exactly where I'm at. I can go grab the budget to kind of give an idea, and I'm trying to, it's under a general services budget. I just don't remember what it's under.
Couldn't we get away with just doing it once a month?
I don't know, we could do it right away, maybe once a month. Maybe Dan will honor what we currently have for, let's say, a transition period for 1 more month, going twice a month, within, make sure we hand out flyers for everybody that comes. 'Cause it's usually the same people, repetitive. We'll have to get on our sign on our website. I know people have to keep their cardboard and their plastics in their garage for a lot longer, which, I know it's gonna be inconvenient, but it's still a lot of money.
And this price is only good through December, so.
Right. Recycling center is under building and grounds. Is that what you think the line item is? I think you budgeted 16,000. If I'm looking at this right, I don't know what else would be under recycling center.
I don't remember, to be honest with you. I'd have to take a hard look at it. Is that under general services?
It's under building and grounds.
But are you under the general services
Yes.
budget? There may be another line item in something else, under another, I don't remember, but I know there's money, there's a specific line item for it. 16,000, you said?
Yeah, that's what you have for the 25-26 budget.
That sounds right. I mean, you knew it was going
I
to go
just don't know
through.
why it would be listed under building and grounds, though. That would, building and grounds would be like, I would want to say, I don't know, something else.
Because
We
right
put in
now,
at least what we paid last year, so if we went with this once a month,
I mean, it would make sense, because right now it looks like it's, I thought 2,200 has been used so far.
Oh, okay.
So there's like $13,800 left.
That's not-
So that'll put us, I mean, if we agreed to twice a month, that's gonna
double it, yeah.
double what we got in there.
Do we have any idea how many people use the service?
I use it.
Quite a
I
few.
use it.
But you
There's
wait in
quite a
line?
bit, huh?
You wait in line when you come
I
down?
don't
There's
know.
times you wait in line,
Sometimes
there's
you
times
do.
you pull
Sure.
right up. And there's
'Cause sometimes-
times you get here like before 9, and there's a line of 8, 10 cars. I mean, your fire guys see these guys line up. It's a steady flow
There's
of people.
lines all the time,
Yeah,
Really?
it seems like.
there's a steady flow of
Steady
people that
flow.
go through it.
And
For
no,
sure.
we've tried a lot of other options, this being the best, but
They want to put the cans back out there like they did before, and I said,
it's,
that's just
it
not
just
going to
doesn't
work.
work. Just doesn't work.
Okay, so go once a month and give them 2 months to pass out, we can, well,
Yeah, see if you can get us, what we'll try to do is we'll try to
Put
get
it on the
through.
website, I mean, try to do as much,
we could probably even
Notifying
put
You can have
that,
a sign made up and just stick it by the truck.
put it in the tax bills, put it in,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't
that
know,
too.
something. Because you will get those, you will get those calls.
Yep.
As soon as you, if you decide you're gonna do it on only the first of the month, or the third, or maybe
Yeah,
the
you
We
third.
gotta
I don't
determine when
know.
we're gonna have this, the second week of the month, second Saturday of every month then, or it's the first and third Saturday right now, right?
Correct.
So we have the first Saturday of every month. So when would that, if we have them hold it, if we continue the way we're going, maybe from May and June, get through June.
Because it's saying as of June, it's gonna go up to 2,400. I mean, based on
I think that we
this
can
letter
get-
that he sent to Susan. If you can convince him to give us a month
I
or
think I
two
could
till we
convince him.
notify.
I'm sure I can convince them to get one more month and then start in July. Gives us an opportunity to,
Notify everybody that you're going down to once.
and then, do you wanna do it the third Saturday or the first Saturday? You wanna do it the first Saturday in July then?
it might depend on what he has available too, so.
Start first Saturday in July, we can start with that. Okay. Okay, so motion to approve once a month at 1,200, is that what we're gonna do? Starting, let's start tentatively first Saturday in July.
Or,
I'm asking, does that sound okay?
oh,
That
yeah,
sounds
Yeah.
I mean,
I
I
mean, I'd like to,
personally, no,
What do you think?
because that stuff adds up in the
It
garage,
does.
but I'll just start burning paper
I know.
products, that's all. You know, cardboard.
it's just a lot of money.
It
And
is a lot of
I don't know that
money.
we
Yep.
have that extra wiggle room in the budget for,
If you've seen any of those videos on how they really don't recycle,
well, you've always,
it's a lot of
always
money to
get
pay if
those
that's the case.
comments too.
And just having to see a text that there's a gentleman, he pays $40 a month extra, or $40 a year extra to have recycling his trash. I know there's people that have tried that. I think there's issues and bruises, isn't there? What is it?
It's just that they seem like it's the garbage truck grabbing it, right? It's the same truck as.
Yeah, there's been a lot of
There's been a
controversy
lot of
about that, but
controversy.
they say that, yes, it's the same truck, he goes and does his route, empties the garbage, and then he goes
Comes
back
back
around
and gets
collecting all the
recycled.
recyclable
So,
stuff.
never
Well,
followed
it's
the
just-
truck myself. so
Now
I
day and
don't
age,
know.
I'm sure there's people with cameras following
Sure.
them, so they're sure they're not lying. But yeah,
Oh,
I mean, we don't have any other choice, it's a lot of money,
double.
we can't do the first Saturday in July because it's a holiday week and I just got,
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
So do the
So-
third
true.
Saturday?
we can do the third Saturday, so every third Saturday then?
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
decides that. Somebody
Okay, I have to
texting you
change my
that?
motion. People still have opportunity to go with their garbage provider, or the waste provider.
yeah.
And that may be something we need to look at anyways. I mean, most municipalities have all gone with one waste service. You guys have it in the village, right?
Yeah, it's priority, but have you seen all the problems that Washington's been having?
I've
And
heard
it
some.
falls right on them.
I think it's the way it's being billed, is that correct, or? I don't
Yeah,
know.
but weren't there problems too? They couldn't get into certain subdivisions or
We have a lot of private roads.
private roads, yeah.
But they didn't want to come down.
Oh, did they don't want to go down? How did they go down? How did the garbage service go down there before when you had 4 different companies going
Right.
down? You know,
But when you have a contract, I mean, I don't know, that was just,
yeah. Okay, well, motion to go ahead and approve Priority Waste to do our recycling once a month, third Saturday of every month, starting July, third Saturday in July for $1,200 a month.
Support.
Support by DeGiorgio. If there's no other discussion, can we get a roll call, please?
Kraft,
Yes.
Sockowitz? Yes. DeGiorgio?
Yes.
Philbrook?
Yes.
Vincent?
Yes.
Motion carries. Can we move on to item 8D?
It actually
I'm sorry.
be-
Yeah, 8D, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, set public hearing for the 33-mile road IFT. No paperwork.
No, because it's just a set hearing. You'll have all the paperwork and the application
Do you
at the
have a
next
motion already
meeting.
prepared for June 18th?
Motion to set a public hearing date for June 18th, 2025, at 6 PM to discuss the 33M53 LLC IFT application.
I support. Can we just do an all in favor, or is that got to be a vote? You know, just all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries, thanks. Which 33-mile L, who's it, one of them?
Cordy.
Oh, that's Cordy. Okay. Item 8E, the purchase of a Lucas device and 2 AEDs. Chief?
Yeah, so, fire department would like to purchase another Lucas device, which can make 5 Lucas devices, which puts 1 in each of the apparatuses, the 3 alphas and the 2 engines, along with 2 AEDs. Reason for the AEDs is that we no longer have, when we switched over monitors, they're now physio control. So we have 2 Zols and 1 physio currently AEDs.
One's all here, right, you're going to replace?
So we're going to make them all current with the current monitors that we have. We no longer have Zoll, so now we're at physio control, so we're going to purchase 2 AEDs compatible with the current monitors that we have. We'll replace the one in the Township and the other one that floats around between C1 vehicle and the utility. So basically, I'm looking for a motion of not to exceed $25,000 for the purchase of all 3 of these products. The $20,000 is coming from the sale of the truck that you approved last month.
Motion to approve the purchase of 1 Lucas device and 2 AEDs, price not to exceed $25,000.
1 Lucas, 2 AEDs. Sorry.
1 Lucas and 2 AEDs, price not to exceed $25,000.
Support.
Support by DeGiorgio. Any other discussion? Chief, the old AEDs, they just, what would we do with the old ones? Do we have anybody we can donate them to? They're still good.
The old 2 we're going to donate to Romeo.
The 2 of them,
2 of them. We're going to donate 2 of them to Romeo.
the Village Romeo or the Lions Club?
It's an organization through Romeo.
Oh.
Honestly, the name of the organization escapes me, but I can get you that information.
No, no problem.
It's a
It's not
charity.
necessary, but they're going to a good cause.
They're going to a good cause. yes.
The new AEDs, are they brand new or are they rebuilt? 'Cause I know
So
we
I'm
did-
looking at both right now. When I originally talked to him, it didn't seem like it was much of a difference between a refurb,
Okay.
excuse me, and a new one. And they're hard to find. Usually, once they come in, they're out the door. So if we can get refurbs, we'll get refurbs. Because that is also the option for the Lucas device to get a refurb.
Oh, really?
That one is a $6,000 difference.
Why would they have a refurbished Lucas device? People buy another one that fast and turn the other one in on trade or something?
I'm not going to ask
They're not even that old. I mean, a
I'm not going to ask
Lucas,
questions when I'm going to get $6,000 discount, so. They're all certified, they get certified anyways.
nothing better than new, you know, obviously.
They still warranty them the same way, so there should be no issue.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. There's no other discussion. Can we get a roll call, please? Thanks, Chief.
DeGiorgio?
Yes.
Sockowitz? Yes. Philbrook?
Yes.
Vincent?
Yes.
Kraft?
Yes.
I know that the last time that these batteries were checked, I think I had Nathan Raz came out here and checked them, so it's been a year. I don't know if they've been checked recently, so before you give it to anybody, we might want to take a look
We'll
at it.
definitely check that.
Yeah. All right, Chief, thanks.
Thank you.
Move on to 8F, the sunset of the grant coordinator position. Is that you, Susan, or is it the chief?
Oh,
The position's coming up, so you guys,
We
as a
put a
coordinator,
deadline on it.
decide if it's going to be sunsetted or not. So the deadline's June,
It's 18 months from the original date.
correct?
So what's not working out, chief, or what's going on?
And it is and it isn't. You know, haven't really received a lot of grants, so it's up to your discretion. I know that was one of the requirements that you required when this position was implemented, that
has he written any?
if you saw results, then you would approve it. If you didn't, then you would sunset it.
Has he written any grants?
He's written a couple, yeah.
Is this part of the contract, union contract, or no?
So it was a position that we created for a 5% increase for somebody to handle all the grant writing, basically a coordinator and facilitate the grants.
Can you put
We did it for 18 months. I believe the person wrote at least 3, I believe, if not 4. One we did receive, which was the state of Michigan for the fire year, but again, that was, everybody received that one. I believe we were denied on at least 2 of them, if not 3.
So he wrote 4 and he was denied on 3 other ones he wrote, you said?
I believe so.
So he's been working on it. What's the 5% and the dollar amount come to?
5% is whatever the capture is up to 10, I believe we created it up to 10,000. I don't have it in front of me.
It's about the full-time firefighter's base pay. Do you know, is there a dollar amount
It's a
on that?
5% pay.
Well, it's 5% pay increase on his hourly wage.
Yeah.
You know, but, gee,
What does the annual amount come out to?
Yeah,
It's
something.
probably somewhere around $3,800, $4,200, if I had to guess, without having the number in front of me.
what's your recommendation, chief?
I think it needs to be looked at.
Maybe part of the contract discussion or something?
If we're gonna look at it again, you say that this needs to be rewritten, how it's worded, is that how you're saying, or what needs to be looked at? How it's being done, or who's doing it, or?
I don't know how much success we've had on it, right? So if I compare it to the mechanic's position that you approved also, it's night and day. So we've seen extensive results out of that position. We just haven't seen that out of this position.
You want it to at least pay for itself.
Right.
Oh.
We're not getting 3, 4 grants that were approved, we didn't get $3,800 worth of,
Maybe we
Sure.
did, maybe we didn't. Again, I don't monitor it. I don't know how much time he has actually spent on that, so I can't tell you.
can we follow your recommendation on this? I'll make a motion to go ahead and, can we put this on hold until we look at it? Is that what you want to do, or just want to eliminate it altogether?
It's whatever you decide, just know that it sunsets in June. So whether you vote on this or not, it will be sunsetted. So you either vote to not sunset it, or it sunsets itself.
just
Is there
let it ride.
anything that they're working on currently that would,
Not that I'm aware of.
Question.
I don't know if he's working on a current grant. Now, he is working on current grants that we have received, right?
Follow-up
Because you
and-
have to do the follow-up,
Yes.
right? So that's one of the issues. There's a lot of follow-up to receiving the grant. It's just
Correct.
not putting the grant together, and you're done.
right,
If you're awarded it, there's a ton of follow-up. Sometimes it's a year, sometimes it's 2 years. So there's constant checks, depending on where the grant comes from.
So we could let it sunset, or we could even take it up next month if we, it's June, we probably did it at the June meeting last year. No, it's
It would be
18 months.
if you have it, if Mike has it in front of him, it would be, I believe, on that paperwork.
I've got 18 months.
Right, is there a date on
No,
the
sir. No.
signing of that?
from the date we received
I don't have a date on the sign.
Is it primarily the assistance to firefighters grant that they write in, or is it?
There's one that I've requested them
Okay.
to do.
So I see two parts here. You know, there's the paid position, and then it looks like anybody in the fire department can write grants and be rewarded if they do that.
Correct.
Is there any interest in that among the members of the department?
I believe there is.
Okay.
I believe there is.
So even if this position was to go away, someone may just take it upon themselves to write grants?
Correct, because I think we should still negotiate with the union on that capture amount.
Sure. Yeah, I used to write
If
them
they're
just
gonna-
because.
Right?
Yeah, I mean,
So
it
if you're
wasn't,
gonna put the effort into.
yeah, it wasn't my job.
And you're getting some,
Yeah, the department was a better place.
Right.
If we got a grant, and we did.
right?
I don't think we have that wording in the contract right now that we're looking at. If I'm not mistaken, it's something we're gonna definitely have to add, and so.
That position you're saying
We
for
do not
grant
have
writing?
that currently in the contract.
We
I don't
don't.
necessarily feel that it needs to be in the contract unless it's a position.
Yeah, because this is a letter of agreement. I assume this is with the
It's an
union.
LOU through the union.
And it says any member of the fire department can write grants, and they're awarded based on that.
But it also states that in an LOU, like you said, without this paper being in effect, or after the board approved it, there's nothing that's gonna give them guys any kind of a guarantee they're
I
gonna
see.
get a
I see.
monetary value.
Correct. It would be something that we would sit down, or you would sit down with the union and renegotiate, which would be probably the bottom half of that contract, or the corner
The bottom half of this MOU
MOU.
or LOA or whatever.
Wasn't,
I think it
yeah.
was the LOA, I'm not sure. Or LOU, sorry.
So let's currently just, I just assume put it on hold temporarily until we can get it figured out. We won't that means we're not renewing it in June until we can determine what we're gonna do. If it's gonna go in the union and,
I believe it's worded, and I apologize, I do not have it in front of me, that it's automatically sunsets. That is something that you need to check into as a board.
So that 5% stipend would go away to that individual starting
Correct. Starting
in June?
Yes.
So we don't have to do anything?
well, it won't be renewed automatically. I'm trying to find that wording right now, but I did remember.
It might be in the motion, the original motion.
It says, looks like the township, it is determined if the position has cost the township more than has been awarded, they may eliminate the position. So it looks like the township's got I don't see a sunset clause in here, chief. It looks like the township would eliminate it.
But it probably was in the motion.
Okay.
But again, even if it was in the motion, that would supersede it. If that's an agreement between the township and the union.
It has 18 months written on it.
Yeah, it says 18 months at the bottom. Agreed to meet 18 months from the date they received the notice.
I'll just make a motion, following chief's recommendation, I'll make a motion not to renew the letter of agreement for the grant writer coordinator that's going to be due on June of 2025 until later for further discussion, maybe? Look at CBA, maybe?
I think you should probably discuss it during the CBA.
Okay.
Support?
Support by Vincent. Can we get a roll call, please?
Kraft,
Yes.
DeGiorgio,
Yes,
Philbrook,
Yes.
Benson,
Yes.
Sockowitz.
Yes.
But if I'm not mistaken, there's no wording in the current CBA right now with the grant writer at all, right?
There is not. The only current position out of the three that we had discussed is the fitness coordinator position, and that is in the contract.
How's that coming along? Okay. Seen one of the guys walking down the road again the other day up on Van Dyke, bulletproof vest on and some weights around his ankles and stuff, so Maybe she's got him, she's cracking a whip out there or something.
Maybe.
Got all that weight on him, so give him credit. All right, Chief, thanks. Move on to item 8G, the bill of grievance settlement. This is mostly for discussion. It's something that we had put in there, was been an ongoing thing. There was some discussion back in the day when one of our employees were hired on. He was told that he didn't receive 2 years of seniority, or he didn't, for his working as part-time, he didn't receive any seniority. It was 1 year when he should have got 2 years. So there was the employer stood its ground, the union grieved it, and went from a grievance to a mediation to an arbitrator. In here you can find the arbitration's award. The township did lose in arbitration. It was determined the employee was entitled to that 1 more year of seniority, so the township not only had to give him the 1 year of seniority, the township also had to pay him arrearages. And I've got a copy of the.
So this is the total compensation for pension here, 2,148.30, is that?
The actual amount that he's going to be paid is, I thought I highlighted.
Looked like the payroll portion was 2148.30 and the pension amount was 343.90, if I read this right.
That's what I was
Sounds-
asking.
That sounds about right. Yeah, and then 1 hour, bumps up 1 hour in seniority, or 1 year in seniority.
So he's up to date,
So,
as of 5/9 is what it says. Pay rate and pension brought to date on 5/9/25.
yeah, he was, everything, I don't know, on the pay part of it, I think there was you're waiting until the following pay period or something, or, do you recall anything, Frank, talking to Bob on it,
No, I think something about it's all gonna show up in his next paycheck. And so that will bring him up to date. However, he did lose probably $8,000 from the time he got hired full-time up until 75/24
So
in
that-
wages.
This only goes back to when it was brought to our attention. At the
So
time
1
of the-
year,
yeah,
basically.
Right. Okay. Be a lesson learned, I guess, so. All right. Move on to item 8H, the online payment flyer. Frank?
Yeah, so we're going, talked about this last month, wanted to recap it. I know I didn't have to come to the board, but I just want to do it for transparency and educational purposes. Roxanne and Bob Billick have been working together on this very hard, and I thank them for that. So we did send out a communication. Roxanne mailed out this flyer here to all the residents that have water and sewer. They also compiled all the emails of all the people that are in our system, and we sent them an email with this flyer attached. So we're going to this new system because it's with BSNA. So because it's with BSNA, it will communicate with our BSNA system immediately. It's also going to save the township approximately $3,100 a year because we pay roughly about $265 a month in fees. So the fees have always been there with the online payment, so this is nothing new. There's some people that are under the understanding that now they're going to be charged. The fees have always been there. For credit card and debit card, for tax and utilities, the fees have always been 3.25%. Now they will be, credit card, they'll be for tax, it'll be 2.8 plus 50 cents transaction, and the utility billing will be 2.95%. These fees are very similar to the current ones. The new payment process offers more options for payment and better communicates with our processing system. The fees do not go to the township. They pay the processor for handling the payments. The new payment processor also is cheaper, like I just said, of $265 per month. This is just an option for making payments. You can still pay by check or use your bank billing pay system or use our Dropbox. It does offer other options to pay, like desktop or mobile pay. You can pay with your phone now. And that's it. We just feel that this is going to be a great option for us.
We've already approved it though, right?
Yeah, this is already approved. Again, I didn't have to bring this here, but I wanted to talk about it, and so that way people are a little bit more educated. There are a few people that have already called us or sent an email saying that they're being charged. Well, you were always being charged if you were using the process system, so that's
I
it.
know Roxanne's had some people come in and switch over. You guys had people, everybody been switching over okay, Roxanne, or?
So they can't switch over until after June 4th.
Right.
So the next bills are due June 1st, so everybody should get through that, and then we should have a switch on.
Yeah. So basically what she's saying is you have up until June 4th to pay your payments the way you're currently paying them online. But after June 4th, beginning June 15th, you will have to subscribe to the new payment system.
Okay. Hopefully it'll go smooth, right?
Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
So are we.
It's kind of nice, you can put all on one credit card now and not have it max on it, which is important. Looks like that's it, guys. We move down
No,
to
you
number.
got limestone.
Oh, that's why it's still here. Yep, we had item 8J, our limestone program. We did receive a letter from the county, or an email from the county, that they have another additional mile of limestone that they would allow us to have this year. We wanted to take it. Again, we're looking at $100,000 worth of material for $10,000 approximately. It would be my recommendation to go ahead and, take the extra mile, but it's up to the board. So we have not got the limestone approval for this year done. I submitted one site, and that would have been McKeel Road between Boardman and, Wales Road between Boardman and McKeel, and that was denied, so it was kicked back. I'm waiting to get back in. Now they sent us this to see what we want to go for another mile. So I'll make a motion to approve to have one additional mile. I'm going to be short on the budget. I only have $10,000 more than what, I've got $40,000 in the budget. This will be it looks like 40,
Maybe 11,000 for the additional mile?
Yeah,
Do you base
it's
it
like
on what they're
11 grand.
charging us currently for the 3?
yeah, we're paying $33,000 for 3 miles, so break it down to about 11,000. So I've only have $40,000 in the budget for this year, so I'm going to be a little bit over, but I think I got some in the maintenance in another area. But I'll make a motion to go ahead and approve that additional mile of limestone put down for the township this year.
Do you know what, you don't know? Okay.
I have to look at
And where do you want her to take the money out of?
it will come out, we do have a road program that where the limestone's going to come out of. I'd have to just find out where the additional 3,000 or 4,000 would come out of. I think that there's another maintenance program, I just don't remember where.
Okay.
I could have come more prepared on that, I guess, so. Anybody want to put a second in all, or?
Support.
Support by George. If there's no other discussion, can we get a roll call, please, Roxy?
Kraft,
Yes.
Sockowitz,
Yes.
Philbrook,
Yes.
DeGiorgio,
Yes.
Vincent.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Now we can move on to communications. Dorothy, you want to start with communications?
I really don't have anything. Nothing.
Okay, Frank?
No, I don't have nothing.
Well, 32 mile road, traffic lights.
Yeah, 32 Mile Road. We had a meeting with Macomb County Roads, a couple of years ago, and between them, Bruce and Washington, we widened 32. In Mound, it was, we paid, 20%? 20%. Washington paid 20, county paid 60. They widened it, they installed traffic lights there, there've been a lot of accidents over there that have been, it's a dangerous intersection. Hopefully, this will eliminate some of that. I think they're supposed to put in rumble strips as well, I don't know if they did that yet, I meant to drive by today and I forgot. So yeah, that's it. Thanks to Cone County Roads for that.
Yeah, appreciate what they did. Thanks. What else, you got anything else, Frank?
No, that's it.
Right, I'm sure anybody's traveled down McKay Road between 33 Mile Road, the roundabout, and 34 Mile Road, that's being repaved. The start date on that was the 16th of May, which we put out on a website, and tried to let people notify as many people as we could. Completion date is set about 30 days from start to finish, which shouldn't be like it was before. We had it down to one lane with flaggers. They're gonna start doing shoulder work now on driveways and approaches, so that should be pretty easy, but it's nice to get that road paved. Regarding the sewer, I know there was a meeting, Susan had brought to my attention, I didn't watch the Village Romeo's meeting. Sounded like they brought up the discussion about the sewer, but it didn't sound like there was much said about it, but we have not, Frank and I have reached out to them. I sent them an email on March 12th for the requested flows for our short-term and our long-term for the township. I did an April 23rd follow-up from them because we still haven't had a meeting with them. I never heard back from them on the 23rd. Justin Park Agency has been reaching out to us, and I did run into Megan a couple of times in passings at different events, and I'd asked her. They would still have no meeting. Frank sent an email back out on May 6th. I think Justin Parker's the only one we hear response from. We sent it out to the whole committee, but it would be nice to have the Village Romeo reach out to us in the near future. Again, we've been trying to negotiate sewers with them for, well over 4 years, so.
At their last meeting, they did schedule their subcommittee to meet, I think the second week of June, so that's some progress, I suppose.
All right, so waiting on them. Susan, what do you got for communications?
Well, speaking of wastewater, she sends me these flow charts periodically, so I thought you all might be interested to see. And also I met with the village about doing something, a combined effort with community organizations and the village for the 250th birthday, our country's birthday next, the July, 4th of July next year is 250 years. So if anybody wants to participate in that conversation, let me know. So far, Parks and Rec and, what else did DDA are going to help
We
too.
had the parade too, can you mention that did you mention the parade?
What, for this week,
Monday.
this weekend?
Yeah, I didn't mention the parade.
Okay, yeah, there's a Memorial Day parade, the usual walk from Four Corners to the cemetery and,
Village Park.
yes, and Congresswoman McLean will be there, the guest speaker.
Yeah, 10 a.m. ceremony at the cemetery on 32 Mile Road.
Right,
Thanks.
yeah.
Dave?
All set? Nothing here.
Chief?
From the fire department, I'd like to recognize Lieutenant Hal, Karam Becker, BC Val, Sergeant Carr, and we also had a student on a CPR save early in the month, 74-year-old male, or I'm sorry, 73-year-old male. Actually, before we left, he went up for surgery, STEMI. He is still in the hospital, unfortunately. I believe the last update we received is that he possibly had a stroke a couple days after that, but it was a really good save, so I want to recognize all the people that were on that call. Call volumes for the month, Romeo had 65, Bruce had 96, total of 161 calls for the month.
Busy.
We're getting busier, so.
Okay.
And everybody have a safe Memorial Day.
Yeah, happy Memorial Day.
Happy Memorial Day.
I want to thank everybody for coming out. Stacy, as always, so good to see you from the Record newspaper. Riley, thanks for everything. Thanks, Roxanne. We have a good night. Motion to adjourn.
Thanks, Roxanne.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thanks.